Hello everyone. This is Tobi from the Phuket Meditation Center, and you're listening to the Dharana Meditation Podcast. Let's sit together, calm the busy mind, and explore topics concerning character development, meditative training, and deeper self-knowledge.
So let's begin by sitting upright, the head suspended from above. Body relaxed, at ease. Taking a few comfortable, pleasant breaths. Just breathing in a way that feels nice. Let the breath gradually sink down in the body, resting in the belly. Receiving yourself at this moment with kindness, with compassion, allowing everything to be just as it is. Accepting this present state that you're in. Let go of trying to control it or change it, get rid of it, or pursuing it. Just simply leave it be. Let your consciousness gradually spread out into your whole body. It's connecting to the body, feeling the body as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, releasing, softening, letting go of all this unnecessary tension that exists throughout the body. Let it melt or evaporate, dissolve. Bit by bit. There's no need to be mindful for the duration of many breaths. It's perfectly enough to be mindful just with this one breath. Breathing in, feeling the body, and breathing out, releasing all the tension. Softening the tissues. watch out for the usual spots where tension gets accumulated quite a lot, which is between the eyebrows and the forehead, in the eyes, and of course neck and shoulders. Also internally in the brain. The heart, the chest, solar plexus and belly. And with each breath, just softening a little bit. Noticing that if you let go, it gets a little bit better, feels a little bit better. Really saturating your body with consciousness, bringing the mind and the body together nicely. Getting out of your head, out of the realm of abstract thoughts. Coming into the aliveness, the vibrancy of your presence. More and more letting go of the future, the past, things that don't exist right now. Coming directly into this moment without any concepts in between, without any narrative. Just experiencing the way it is. Even letting go of all the concepts of good, bad, sadness, frustration, confusion, etc. Replace them just simply with one concept, making things more simple. The one concept to replace them with is aliveness. Just sitting in the aliveness of this moment. Wherever your attention goes, you will find expressions of aliveness. Whether your attention goes to feeling, sound, thought, light. Wherever you look, you will find expression of energy, change, vibrancy. There's nothing to do, nothing to get rid of, nothing to pursue. It's a simple realization that you are already here, and truth is already like this. You don't have to produce it. You don't have to build anything. It's about directly seeing what is just as it is. And gradually learning to be at peace with that. To be okay with truth. All there is just feeling, thinking, hearing, seeing, smelling, and tasting. None of those things is attacking you. They just exist. It's our resistance to life and its various expressions that create suffering that is painful. Life as such is not painful. Sometimes you may get lost in the content of your mind, just like you would get lost in a movie. You believe those stories that your mind tells you, whether it's complaining, whether it tells you, I can't do this, this is boring, this is painful, I'm a victim, I don't like this. Or it tells you, ooh, I love this, that's amazing, so peaceful. You really listen to those stories as if it is you that speaks. The other option is to see that, no, that's just thinking. Thoughts arise and thoughts pass. And this thinking is just a product of conditioning, my upbringing, society, my past. Realize, no, it's just a movie. It's just an old recording. It keeps repeating and repeating. In the first example, you are the thinker. In the second example, you are aware of thought. In your own time, you can slowly come back, remaining centered in knowing yourself, staying connected to your body. Good morning, everyone. So today, I've received a question from one of our students, Nevin. She asks about the subject of self-mortification. You can think of this subject and how it's relevant to our meditative practice, to our spiritual training, whether it is or whether it is not. The way I see it is you can split it into two. There is a type of self-mortification that is useless. There is a type of self-mortification that is useful. That's the way I would think of it. First of all, let's begin with the self-mortification that is useless. You may all know examples of that. Hating on yourself, talking down on yourself, discouraging yourself, building a type of self-image that is not helpful, not beneficial at all. Holding on to things that are painful and then suffering what you are holding on to, like grabbing a hot coal and then complaining that it hurts, but not willing to let it go. But just sitting, stewing in your own pain, just complaining, I'm so unhappy, I hate this is so uncomfortable, when will it ever end, why always me? So that type of self-mortification is what I would refer to as useless. It doesn't help. It isn't beneficial. And it will make sure that you become someone that you do not want to become. If you embody such a state, if you surrender to such a state and such a behavior, it will not be of service to you or others. You may have actually noticed that during this meditation. We sat here, and we sat for a bit, and look at how your mind is talking to you. Is it complaining? It's like, how much longer? When does he stop? What did I get myself into? Just grumbling along, just complaining to yourself. It's completely useless. Yet why do we do it? It doesn't make things better, does it? Like if you have a headache, if you get sick, if you end up having cancer, does it help that you complain on top of that? Well, obviously not. If people around you do what you don't like them to do, and you complain around it, does it make it better? Does it change their behavior? No, it doesn't. There's things that are outside of your control. Well, there's things that are also inside of your control. But to complain about things that are outside of your control is pointless. You have a couple of choices, right? You could either change the situation. If you don't like it, you just get out. Or you could make use of that situation and turn it into an experience that strengthens and sharpens your character. That's a possibility too. Makes you more patient. That makes you more centered and calm. That's an option. But the option of just complaining about it, I don't see any point in that. That would be an example of self-mortification that is useless. You can do that physically too. You can hurt your body. You can hurt your own body. Types of self-mortification that are based on trying to induce pleasure in the body, but actually ending up in a heap of pain, in a heap of problems. We're all familiar with that as well. There's many ways in which you can hurt your own body. Think of keeping yourself from having good sleeping pattern, keeping yourself from eating healthy, keeping yourself from moving properly. That's a type of self-mortification, Staying out of the sun, not getting sunlight. Hanging out with people that are pulling you down within the physical realm, that could be considered a type of self-mortification that is entirely useless. It doesn't help. You're inflicting pain upon yourself. Because it's what you've been doing. So it's familiar. And we like doing things that are familiar because we're good at it. It comes natural. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to make effort. Learning a new thing, you have to make effort. Learning how to think differently, that's effort. Like sitting here in the meditation and learning to encourage yourself rather than complaining about the situation that you're in, going, poor me, poor me, poor me.
You could train something else. Depends on what that would be. Is there a possibility for you to have better thoughts? Does such a possibility exist? That you would think different thoughts while you're under pressure, sitting still in meditation? Could you have kind thoughts towards you? Thoughts that get you through this, rather than thoughts, oh, I'm too weak, I can't handle this, this sucks. Could you put your body into situations that are good for your body in the long term? Is there such an option available to you? This is something we can control, right? Now, to come into a type of self-mortification that is useful, that arises from doing what is right, what is correct, what is helpful and beneficial, but not pleasant. It's not pleasant, Staying here and actually committing to the meditation practice and keeping the body still, training yourself like that, you can't escape, you can't run away. The job is to keep your body still. And when you do this, you're going to be really, really confronted with pain, with difficulty, with hardship. And that pain, that difficulty, that hardship then would encourage you either to give up, or to stay the same and just complain, or to escape, or to grow through it. Now, most of us nowadays, we live lives that are incredibly comfortable compared to the Middle Ages, compared to living in a war zone, compared to not having enough food. Most of us, I'd say, who are here, who actually have the leisure to think about meditation and go to a meditation center, now that we are sitting in this room or listening to this online, we have very comfortable lives. Very, very comfortable. Most of the problems that we experience nowadays are problems made of thought. You're not threatened by people that shoot bullets at you, right? You don't have to run day in, day out. You have a comfortable bed to sleep in at night. You have a roof over your head and you have way enough to eat. That should cover it. Should cover most of it. You're safe from bad weather conditions. You have relatively good health care. You have friends, family, people that love you and care for you. We all have them. So it shouldn't really be much of a problem to live these days. But it is because of our thoughts. We can literally make problems out of thin air. Like we can be outraged. I mentioned that last time. We can be outraged if somebody doesn't get the latte art right on your coffee. And don't they know how to do it? They have no good training here in Thailand. Yeah, they don't do the latte art properly, and you can get outraged about these kind of things. Perhaps not latte art, but similar topics. I don't know what people get upset these days about. He used the wrong pronouns. Outrage. We can make up problems like that. And of course that's a made-up problem. What else is it? It's a problem made of thought. What else would it be? It's as clear as daylight. These are problems made of thought. Modern day, third world, first world problems, sorry. All right, we have nothing to worry about, so let's create things to worry about. Perhaps that's nature's way to encourage evolution. But if you don't get the message, you may as well devolve. It may be your downfall. So whatever life presents you, whatever kind of difficulty or challenge that is thrown at you, it can either be your downfall, it can be the cause of your enlightenment. It can be the cause of peace. It can be the cause of happiness, love, kindness, and so forth. Patience. If you knew you've had that choice. If you don't know that you have that choice, then, well, you are condemned to repeating impulsively what you're already good at. In other words, what your nervous system does automatically. Then no wonder that we have a hard time changing, because our body works against us. Our nervous system, our hormones, the way we have been raised, the society we live in, and so on, conditions a lot of our behaviors. And if on top of that we are not mindful, we are not aware of ourselves, then of course we just repeat. It's a very deterministic way of looking at life, but life is deterministic if you are not aware. You are going to do what you have been doing if you're not aware. With awareness comes choice. And with that choice, stepping out of the flow of what you're comfortable with will be uncomfortable by definition. You step out of your comfort zone, that will not be comfortable. Change is never comfortable. Why would you inflict this discomfort upon yourself as a form of self-mortification that is useful? Well, simple, because it would make things better for you and others around you. So that is what I consider self-mortification that is useful. For example, you have a habit of looking into your phone too much. Doom scrolling or whatever. And it's bad. It's not a good thing to do. You're not feeling proud of yourself after a session of doom scrolling, do you? You're not feeling, yes, I really achieved like a new record. Doom scrolled for 3 hours instead of 2 hours, 59 minutes. I made it to 3 hours today. Awesome. I'm really getting somewhere. No one thinks that way, right? So, it's not good for you, yet you want to do it because it's a habit and your body is used to it, your nervous system is used to it, there's a type of addiction there. You've become dependent on that. Not doing it would mean that you would then have to be with yourself in this uncomfortable state where you don't know what to do with yourself now. You have all this extra time now, and you don't know what to do with it. And you don't know what you do with your emotions and yourself and your feelings, and it's just uncomfortable. It would be much more easy to just entertain it all away. That is painful. That is self-mortification that is useful. The idea of sila, which means restraint, ethics, morality, moral conduct that the Buddha has laid out, is precisely to limit the practitioners to a certain framework. You're limited in that. And within that limitation, you need to learn to relax. Because it's really challenging. You can't do this, you can't do that. It's all the fun is just taken away from you. So you're forced to find happiness and meaning and joy in a different way. Because you can't find it in your usual way. The usual way would be, just have a burger, just binge watch Netflix, all these kind of things. Then, there's a usual way of having fun, but now you can't. So you're either going to give up because it's just too uncomfortable, or you're going to accept the challenge and use that limitation to find your only way out, which is through meditation. Basically, sila, the moral framework that the Buddha has laid out, is so that the practitioners can find only one way out of the misery. It's really difficult living in temples. It's not easy. It is easy for those who do not take the practice seriously and who are just lazy. All right, I get some free food every day and I can just hang out and sleep in my hut the whole day. That exists as well. But that's not, of course, the way the Buddha intended it. The way the Buddha intended it is so that you are challenged to a point of pain that then forces you to find a solution to it. Any pain that comes to you, if you engage it through this perspective of trying to find a solution to it, means you have to engage it with awareness, with curiosity, and with the intention of solving it, is leading towards growth. And that growth is what is beneficial to the world. It's not only beneficial to you, it's great to everybody around you. Because we all share ourselves with the world, day in, day out. Every time you are within a community, such as right now, we all share ourselves with everyone around. And if ourself is, you can say, in a low vibration, in a low state, then that's our contribution to the community. It's like walking around with an unwashed shirt, not showering for a week, and then just mixing yourself in communities with other people. Then your presence there is going to make this room a bit more uncomfortable, because you're uncomfortable. So it's the other way around works as well. If you're just had a shower and you're well looked after and your mind is in order and clean and pure and at ease, then your presence becomes very meaningful to others, very helpful. And so there is ways of actually practicing with this self-mortification that are really meaningful, that are really good. Actually, this is a way of measuring your progress on the path of meditation. So it's easy to just delude ourselves. Yes? We can all think, oh, I'm a great meditator. I have been practicing meditation for 15 minutes every day with Headspace for 10 years already. I'm a very accomplished. It's easy to delude ourselves like that. But what would gauge your accomplishment? What have you really accomplished? And have you put it to the test? Your accomplishment. Or is it just a statement that you make to yourself that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy? Oh yeah, accomplished. I'm quite peaceful. Really? How did you figure that out, that you're quite peaceful? How can you figure out whether you're quite peaceful? By doing everything you want to do? Certainly not. By following your preferences? Certainly not. You then have to do things that get you out of your comfort. And then you question yourself, am I still peaceful? Am I peaceful? If you're peaceful no matter the circumstances, period. That means you're peaceful. Otherwise, man, you're just enjoying a nice life. That's not being peaceful. You know. Again, with this idea of being well accomplished or just, with being peaceful or harmless, I see a difference between those two. Being harmless is not a virtue. Being peaceful is. Being peaceful means that you remain harmless no matter what. Being harmless just means you're not triggered. You're not in a situation where people bother you. You've escaped any kind of challenge. I can live in a cave and I can talk to myself like I'm a very harmless person. But you're not. You're just withdrawn. You just escaped. Being harmless means that when people talk down on you, when they destroy your career, when they take what you love from you, and you're still harmless. That's peaceful. You're peaceful. You're well integrated. Otherwise, being harmless is, it's not a high level accomplishment. Unless it is truly become peacefulness, then it is a high level accomplishment. You wouldn't do harm, no matter the circumstances. Are you patient? How would you measure it? Are you more patient than you were 5 years ago? What has changed? How did you measure the progress from a little bit patience to more patience? You'd obviously have to be confronted and put under pressure by something so you can then measure progress. And it's that pressure, that type of self-mortification that I consider useful. The type of self-mortification that you engage in when you go to the gym. No pain, no gain, right? That's self-mortification. It doesn't feel nice lifting weights. It doesn't feel nice to stretch. It doesn't feel nice to kick your butt to get to the gym and do it. And all these kind of things, they don't feel nice. But you know it's right to do it. So you do it anyways. You take the pain upon yourself and do it. That's why those people usually are quite happy. People who go to the gym and work out. Because they work on overcoming difficulty. This is a good thing. This is what we all need, actually. We need a bit of pressure every day. And then you need to transfer that pressure and channel it so that you grow through it. That's the job of suffering, in my opinion. I think suffering is the fuel of evolution. It is actually supposed to make you question, how could I do this better? Why does it hurt? Maybe I need to change a couple of things. Instead of just constantly repeating the same thing and constantly then again and again complaining that it still hurts. Well, surprise, you haven't changed a thing. Of course it still hurts. But when you begin to listen to the suffering, it will begin to teach you. And that type of self-mortification is great. It's very powerful. You're putting yourself in pain consciously for the sake of overcoming it. Useful self-mortification. You're in pain unconsciously, repeating it over and over again. Useless self-mortification. So, I hope that made it a bit more clear.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and had a meaningful time. For more information and upcoming events, head over to our website at phuket-meditation.com. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful day.